Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, the story is the wife and I just had a brand new kid and we decided to move away from the city out to the middle of nowhere to an abandoned airstrip. We're completely off grid, we're in the middle of the desert, and all our systems are failing. Our solar system is lead acid, it's ancient, and it's on its way out. It's a tiny and ancient system. This is a 3,000 watt inverter. So all this stuff has to go. I need to completely gut the system and replace it, but we need something to power the house while I'm replacing the system. And at the same time, Oupes sent me an email offering to send me the G6000 or the Guardian 6000 here and the expansion G5 battery for review. Well, I went and looked at the prices on this thing before I took the deal, and I became kind of skeptical because this thing is $1,699 and this is $1,100. This has 6,000 watts of output continuous, and if you have the extra battery, it does 7,200 watts. Both of them are 4608 watt hours. So this is 9.2 kilowatt hours. So pretty cheap for this system. And this is split phase 240, 120. So being pretty skeptical, I went and looked at the Trustpilot score and it has a 4.5 out of 5, which is actually better than the name brands. So I told him to send me the unit, and I just spent the last 4 days beating this thing up, testing it, and I was not nice to it to see if it was any good for you guys. So we're gonna get into the testing. If you guys like this video, subscribe, it helps us out a ton. And if you decide this unit is right for you, go ahead and use the link down in the description. It helps out the channel a ton. And by the way, this combo right now is for sale for $26.49 right now. I had a lot of fun beating this up, so let's get into it. Okay, you guys. There's our solar system up there. We need to replace the batteries and inverters here pretty soon. So we're gonna be relying on this quite a bit. But I hate this gas can. There we are. See, it's got a vent. All right, let's take this and get going. Oh, oops. We better open up these and see what that's all about. All right, you guys, let's be smart about lifting these. These are heavy. So let's use this crane here. Oops, it's upside down. Okay, you guys, this is one of the highest capacity power stations you can get, especially for the money. Let's go over some of its specs real quick. It does 6,000 watts of output. It can do 7,200 watts of boost with its additional battery. It does 240 volt split phase, so it does 120 and 240 volt. It's 4,600 watt hours in this box right here. It is expandable to 41.4 kilowatt hours with 8 additional batteries. It's around, like I said, it's around 1,700 bucks. That's 36 cents per kilowatts, which is one of the cheapest you can get. That's what sparked my interest about it. The batteries are rated at 4,000 cycles before they get to 80% capacity with a 10-year lifespan. It's got a 5-year warranty, but if you fill out this little card that comes with it, you get an extra year, so you get a 6-year warranty. So can you save a ton of money and still have it do all the things the expensive brands promise to do? We're gonna test that. Okay, let's take a tour of the unit. Over here, we have our XT90 port, and this is good for 12 volts at 30 amps or 24 volts at 20 amps, and this is how you switch it between 12 and 24. And this is how you turn it on and off. And you can get these plugs from Amazon. They're very inexpensive, and they're good for all your various DC projects. You have 2 USB-A ports. These are good for 18 watts each. Here's a USB-C port that's 140 watts, and you turn those on and off right here with your DC button. And it also turns on your cigarette lighter in case you need to relax and have a smoke. You hit that, and that's your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, and you can shut that off, which is nice right there. Coming around the side here, you have your AC outputs, and you have every port known to man, so you're not going to need any adapters. Here we got 120 volt, 20 amp outlets. We've got 4 of those. We've got a 30 amp twist lock, like a generator output. Here's a 14-50R. This is like your dryer or your stove outlet. Here's your Winky face or 240 volt plug. And here's your RV plug that's 30 amps at 120 volts. Oops, there's nothing on this side. This is our AC input, and this is good for 120 volts to 240 volts. And we're actually gonna test that. I ran out and bought a 240 volt cord. See the winky face we were talking about earlier? Behind the same door here, you have your solar input. It's good for 12 to 140 volts at 15 amps max. And this right here is your charging speed on AC. This is fast or adjust. That'll mean you adjust it on your app. These are your extra battery ports. Okay, so here's your charging, your normal 100 volt or 120 volt plug. Like I said, I ran out and bought the special winky face so that we could test its 3600 watts. So this is 1800 watts at 120 volts or 3600 watts at 240 volt. Okay, and then here's our adapter. This takes us to our standard MC4 plugs into a plug that we can plug into the side of this thing. So that's what comes in your kit here. This has the same 4.7 kilowatt hour battery as this, and you can add up to 8 of these to this unit and give you tons of power. Okay, it's got a little battery indicator there. It recognized it straight away. It says 1 times battery there. That is cool. We're gonna be listening to that noisy generator a lot less. Okay, let's use our app. It's called Cleanergy or Cleanergy. And let's turn on communications. Let's add our device. Here it is. Okay, so here's our app. Came pretty quick, and you can remote control everything, DC, AC. Now let's go in here and change our charge setting. Energy management. Okay, I want the whole thing. So we're gonna bump it up. Now we're gonna use the whole thing. It'll wear out our battery slightly faster, but not enough to worry about. That way we can do our capacity checks. You can do a million things in this app. You can schedule tasks. You can have it come on at a certain time, off at a certain time. You can do power shifting where you download power during off peak and use it during peak, that kind of stuff. Okay, there's 2 groups of outlets and they each say 20 amp max. So these are off of 2 different legs. So if you're gonna run 2 heavy loads, run one on one set of plugs and one on the other set of plugs. So we got these 2 heaters, we got them both on low. Let's turn on one of them. Okay, that's 1273 watts. Okay, now we got them both running. Let's flip them both to high. Okay, so we're pulling almost 3000 watts with just the 2 heaters. So we're only pulling half the capacity. Let's see what else we could do. So now we got 2 loads on the same leg. Let's see what it does. Okay, so we're pulling 3000 watts off one leg. Let's see if we can pull some heavy loads off the other one. Nothing's harder to start up than a compressor with a full tank. Now the switch is on, but the compressor isn't running. So let's bleed some air and see if our unit will start it. All right, so it cycled the compressor while running 2 heaters at maximum heat. Very impressive. All right, let's see if it'll run this chop saw while running the 2 heaters. Okay, you guys, let's take this over to the white hangers where we have bigger loads. Now, this unit is 111 pounds, same weight as my wife, so it's easy to move around. And it's got a little handle here. So, and look at, it's got wheels. So it's easy to roll around. And we could do is we could just hook this on the hitch here and take it wherever we want. Okay, you guys, we're here at the white hangers. Let me give you guys a pro tip. Skip the pro power. This thing's a $2,000 option and it puts out 2,000 watts of power. But your truck has to be running the whole time, and that's not great for a diesel engine. This thing puts out 6,000 watts of power, and look at all the outlets you get. This, you're just gonna get 120 volts. That's all you're gonna get. And I'll tell you something else. The other day I went to put air in my tires and I plugged in that small compressor and this truck would not start it. I even tried bleeding all the air out and it wouldn't start it. This thing starts it up easily while running 2 heaters. So, and this is nice because you can use it anywhere. It's not strapped to your truck. What I like about this large power station is you have this connection right here, which is the twist lock. And I'll show you why these are handy. I've got this cord here and it's got a twist lock on the end of it. You stick that in here and then you twist it and now it won't come out. Now the other end of this looks like that. I mean, if you want 120, check this out. 2 separate branches, 30 amps out of these 2 combined, 30 amps out of these 2 combined, 120. You could take this one, plug it in here, and now you've got 240 volt. Now let's run this in and run our air compressor. And I'm gonna leave Amazon links for all these accessories in case you wanna grab them and use them with your Guardian 6000. And if you do, it helps out the channel quite a bit. While this only uses 4,000 or 5,000 watts while running, being 5 horsepower, it uses 16,800 watts to start. It's a 240 volt air compressor. Let's fire it up. Ooh, it sounds weird. The unit tried to start it 3 separate times. It did get it spinning, but did not get it started, and that's not the unit's fault. So let's move on to another test. We've got the Lincoln 140 amp welder right here, and we're gonna weld up a couple of fairly thick pieces of steel. Amperage is at max. The wire feeder on that welder is just about worn out, so it's a little bit pulsy. That's a stressful test because my wire thing is causing surges, and this is a transformer based, so it's very hard on stuff. So this power station could take a bit of a beating. I would recommend an inverter based welder if you're gonna do this because it's a lot easier on electronics. But this is a heavy stress test, and it's the welder I've got at the moment. You guys, we love solar around here so much that even our old truck runs on solar. And if you listen closely, you'll hear the whirl of the electric motor as I drive away. Okay, you guys, now let's wire up all 4 of these big panels to this unit. And I've got some accessories at the end. I'll leave a link for you guys. We're gonna put 2 of these in series and then parallel. And the reason why is we're gonna look at our panel here, and we look at our open circuit voltage here is 52 volts. So 2 in series is gonna give you 104 volts, and our max is 140 volts. So you can't do more than 2 of these in series, but we can do 2 sets of series in parallel. So let's show you how we're gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is I've got these panels arranged head to toe. Connect those bottom 2. So you're gonna connect that one to that one.
Gotcha.
Okay, they're not long enough.
Wait a second.
How close do they have to be? It's never happened to me before where it wasn't long enough to connect. Connect those 2 real quick.
Got it.
So before you connect anything, you're gonna wanna check the voltage. And what we're gonna do is these 2 are in series now. So let's stick this in here and hold that one in there. Okay, look we got 95 volts, which is less than our 140 volt max. So this is safe to plug into our Guardian 6000. If you exceed 140 volts, you'll damage the unit, okay? So next we need to do is, I'm gonna put a little breaker here. Now we're gonna use a solar extension cable. These are inexpensive. Make sure you get a beefy one like this. Red to red, black to black. Now we'll just run this over to the unit. Okay, we've got our cameraman, Maverick. He's helping film. Hi. Okay, here's our 2 strings. We need to parallel them. Here's a parallel connector. So we're just gonna go red to red, black to black. Okay, now the next thing we're gonna do, now we've got our 2 strings in parallel. See this? Now we're gonna put in our adapter that came with the Guardian. So we're gonna plug this into there. We're gonna plug this into here. So red to red, black to black. Okay, so let's turn on this one. And if we've goofed up anything, it should trip. So this offers us some protection. It's good to use a little breaker here. We'll flip this one on. They both stayed on, which is nice. Okay, we got our multimeter. We got it set for DC. And we're gonna check this pin to make sure we do not exceed our voltage. 94 volts, okay? So we're set up pretty good. So we want red to red and black to black. Here we go. Just like that. Okay, we're getting our solar logo here. Okay, we're getting 1,000 watts of power. It's gonna take 2.9 hours to charge. Our 2 strings are out here. Now, we'd get a lot more if we were to increase the angle of these. It's winter time. Guys, we're going to do a little test. I'm going to go shade a couple of the panels and see how well the unit tracks the solar. So we'll see a dip, and then I'll move out of the way and see if it recovers on its own. Okay, I'm going to shade one of the panels, or a couple of the panels. I'm shading a whole string. Going to jump off. Okay, so it tracks well. Yeah, you guys, just doing a shade like this on 2 panels almost kills a whole string. And the unit quickly went down to 500 watts, which is the other one. And then as soon as I moved out of the way, it retracted and got back to its maximum. So cool to live in a time where you can set out 4 cheap panels, a couple of cords, over to an inexpensive unit and have 6,000 watts of split phase power. This thing, for minimal setup, could run your entire shop and every day would refuel itself for free. Okay, you guys, I ran inside to have a little lunch and I've come back outside. I'm just using this for glare off the screen. And 66%. And as the sun angle has changed, you see the sun's way over there now. We're a little off peak, but she's charging good and she's tracking well. The other thing too is I left her out here in direct sunlight. And, you know, if this is your equipment, don't do that. Okay, let's take a look at our rig here. We've got short extension cords, so we can fit 2 kilowatts. So our left leg of the unit is putting out 120.3 volts. The right one's putting out 120.0. Let's check our hertz. 60 hertz, that's perfect. 60 hertz, well, 59.9, 60 hertz, that's perfect. They claim you could charge it from 0 to 100 in 84 minutes using 240 volts. So that's our next test, but we've got to kill it first. It's getting hot out here with these 2 heaters running. So let's just fix that up real quick. All right, that's much better. Cigarette lighter port works. I've charged my phone with this, so that works. All right, let's check our XT90 port. And let's turn it on. Should be at 12 volts. Perfect. Let's switch it to 24 volts. And let's turn it on. 24 volts. So our XT90 port works. Man, I'm starting to feel even chilly with this thing on. Okay, now that our heaters have had time to stabilize, the left one's using 1,417 watts. The right one's using 1,448 watts. Now, if we do the math in our head, that comes out to be 2,865 watts. But the unit itself is reading 2,944 watts. So why the discrepancy? And we're off by 2.75%, which is not very much. And I think what's accounting for is the inverter itself is consuming power because it costs energy to convert it from DC to invert it to AC so that AC loads can use it. Now let's try charging with 240 volts. This is my 240 volt source here. And if you listen closely, you might be able to hear the difference between this and the solar as it charges the unit. Okay, let's use our neutral bonding plug. We'll bond our neutral. Let's take a 240 volt cord. Let's plug her in and start the timer. Okay, we're getting pretty close to our 3,600 watts advertised. All right, so the claim was 0 to 100 in 84 minutes. We got 93 minutes. So not bad. It's still very fast to charge 4.7 kilowatt hours into this box in an hour and a half. Okay, I went on Facebook Marketplace and I grabbed us a calibrating testing piece of equipment. Okay, this unit is rated for 7,200 watts with its extra battery. It's called Power Boost. Without the battery, it's 6,000 continuous output. That's why it's called the Guardian 6000. But we're gonna test that. So let's turn on its output. Now let's grab our plug from our dodgy Facebook Marketplace stove. So this is a 1450P going into a 1450R. Do not touch those prongs, you'll be sad. But now I don't know how to operate this thing, so I called in a professional operator. Are you, here, why don't you fire it up? Okay, okay.
Watch closely.
Let's turn on this big one. Ooh, the fans came on. Okay, 6,700 watts. Let's see how long it'll do that. That's 10% over its rated load. 6,000, but we're at 6,600. And look at that, the voltage is trying to sag, but it's not sagging. That's a beast. It's got some overhead in that inverter. We don't have fancy test equipment, but we're still cooking up some good test results. What do you think? Okay guys, that's the sound of this test being over, but it pushed 10% over its rated limit for well over 5 minutes. So let's cut it off. Okay, let's do our capacity check. This was charged overnight, so I had a chance to balance all its cells. We have a kilowatt here and a 1,500 watt heater. This predicts it's going to take 6 hours. The base unit has 4,608 watt hours, and so does the battery, so that's 9.216 watt hours. Okay, we're getting closer to the end of our test here. I turned on communications just for a second, and I just wanted to see here. So our main battery's at 13%. Let's look at our other battery. It's at 15%. Now these were drifted apart 5%, but it looks like now the BMS is pulling them together. And this one's actually contributing more of the load than the main unit. Okay, we just got our 10% warning. Okay, there's our 5-minute warning. Okay, here we are. Let's get this real quick. Okay, it says 0 minutes. .30. So call that 5 hours and 53 minutes. And I think its original estimate was 6 hours. So pretty good showing. Okay, here's our display. Okay, 0%. 0%. Yeah, our battery's at a nice temperature, and our external battery is also at a nice temperature. 8,300 divided by 9,216 times 100. We got 90% of our capacity. 90% in the world of portable power stations is top tier. And the price is bottom tier. So I think it's a great unit. I mean, I've beat this thing up for 4 days now. I've run this old stove, these old heaters. I ran it on a welder you're not supposed to. I ran it on a compressor that takes 15,000 watts to start. And it was hopeless that any power station would start it, but I tried it anyways. It actually got it spinning. So it overloaded, but it came right back on. So I've not been nice to it. I've bashed it. I got some marks. I hauled it around on a hand truck as a stacked unit and marred it up a bit. It does what it says it's gonna do, plus some. Okay, if you guys want any of these accessories to make your Guardian 6000 even better, I've got links down in the description. These are all from Amazon. I tested all these during the making of this video. They all work great. This is your 240 volt charging cable for the Guardian 6000. It doubles your charging speed from 1,800 watts to 3,600. Here's your breakout for your twist lock. Here's a twist lock extension. There's your combiner for your solar panels. There's your solar extension, and there's a breaker. You're gonna wanna put that right at the panels. Use the links down in the description. It helps us out a ton. Doesn't cost you anything. Okay, you guys, you didn't think I was gonna forget about our most important test. We have 48% charge here on the whole unit. Let's see how long it can power our bat confuser, okay? So we've got this set on stage 2, Batatonic 1. We know those are the best settings. We've got our night light on so nobody's scared, and we're on full power. So let's go ahead and plug her in and see how long she'll run it. Says she's gonna run it for 60 hours on half a charge. So this thing's gonna keep our bats confused. I'm confused. You might be confused. This thing's a great product. We'll catch you guys later. Let's try the different settings. So we've got it on Batatonic 1. It's a little different. Okay, let's change it from stage 1 or stage 2 to stage 1.